Hey everyone, welcome to another BTM screencast. Today we're going over Chapter 51, Asphalt, Shingles, and Tile Roofing. So, roof safety. All roofs require a safety system when working 6 or more feet above the ground. This is why you have knee walls and you're not 6 feet above the ground. Systems may include a warning line or an assigned safety monitor. Some roofing terms. We covered some of these before, but let's go over again. Square, deck, coverage, courses, exposure, top lap. Continued, head lap, end lap, flashing, asphalt cements, and electrolysis. So here we have some of those terms demonstrated. So when you're dealing with a roof and you're talking about shingles, we talk about squares. A square is a 10 by 10 area or 100 square feet. That's how we talk about them. So you don't say, oh, I have a roof that's 800 square feet. Say, oh, this one's 8 square. On this side, here we have exposure, which is the amount of the shingle that actually comes out. Then we have the head lap, so how much overlap there is right here. And here we have the top lap, which you can see the amount of overlap that we have here. Preparing the deck. So this sounds familiar, right? It should be clean and free of all debris. The metal drip edge is already installed. The deck is covered with an asphalt shingle underlayment. We use like a felt paper, and we also have a different one that you may be using. Plastic felts and ice and water shield may be applied, and that's what you'll be using, the ice and water shield. So again, here we have another good picture. So when we start here, we start with the roof deck. That's the first one that we see. We have our underlayment, right? We want that down. And then on top of the underlayment, we have our metal drip edge. After we have our metal drip edge, then we can install our shingles. And the shingles should be 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch overlap, so past the drip edge. Here we have 2 construction workers, 2 roofers, installing the ice and water shield. And this is right down in the valley, which is a great place to have it. Kinds of asphalt shingles. So you can have organic or fiberglass mats. They come in a variety of colors, shapes, and weights. So here we have different types of shingles and what they look like, but you can see that there's some common components in them. All of them have this nice adhesive strip that's going across. And we will get more into that when you begin installing them. Asphalt shingle layout. Layout may begin from either rake. An eave starter course is a full shingle with the exposure portion removed. Each rake starter is cut smaller than the previous. Layout follows a stepwise approach. So here we have what it looks like. So we have our eave starter course made from a full tab shingles with the exposure portion cut off. First starter piece is cut 6 inches short to keep the butt seams from aligning. So we don't want the seams to line up. If your seams line up, it allows water to get down in, and that's not what we want with a roof. The point of a roof is to not have water go down in. So here you can see each course begins with a piece cut smaller than the previous course by 6 or 6.5 inches. So you can see we start here, and then this is all stepped up, right? Each one is shorter than the last. And what that does is it keeps these from aligning the different butt seams together. So here we have full tab shingles butting a previous rake. So they go right up against it, but all the seams are lapped, so that's okay. These are our rake starter shingles, so again, walk back about 6 inches each. Here we have some steps that you can take to begin laying them out. We'll get more into this in the performance assessment, and we'll get into more detail. Again, this is a good reference to have, but don't get caught up specifically on this. When we apply it, it's going to be a little easier. Fastening asphalt shingles. So keeping the row straight is important. I'll have you guys snap lines. Use a minimum of 4 fasteners, 4 nails, in each strip shingle. Do not nail into or above factory applied adhesive. Fastener length should be sufficient to penetrate sheathing at least 3/4 of an inch. So think about that. You want to go in at least 3/4 of an inch. So here we have the full tab shingles, and this lets you know where you can put the nails at. So again, see the location of the nails? Here's this is the adhesive that they apply. We don't want the nails above it. We want the nails below it. You can see that they have 4 fasteners here. Here we have a full tab shingle, and it's the same thing. We still want 4 fasteners. So they're spaced about 1/3 apiece. When you're fastening asphalt shingles, roofing nails should be 11 or 12 gauge galvanized or aluminum with barbed shanks. We have the galvanized. May use power nailers or power driven staples. Staple or nail should bear tightly against the shingle. You don't want them loose, and I mean that kind of makes sense. So here we have someone nailing it, and actually this is a pretty bad example because to me it looks like the nail's going to come out right here, and that is above the adhesive. So here it gives an idea of what you want when your nail is driven, right? Correct, straight, this goes in 3/4 of an inch. An angled nail, nobody wants that. A nail sticking up yet, how is your shingle going to lay flat? It won't. And if you have this, water can come in right here. If you have it too deep because you're getting crazy and decide to drive the nail like a maniac, then you're going to end up getting a leak. Shingle exposure. Exposure range from 4 to 6 inches. Most common is 5 or 5 5/8 of an inch. Exposure in the last 3 to 4 feet may be adjusted to allow last exposure to be full. So you kind of, depending on how much area that you have, you want to kind of blend it so it looks nice. You don't want like a real short shingle at the top, but we can change that to adjust it so it looks nice and uniform as it goes up. Ridge vents and cap shingles top off both roof sections. So here's an example of what I was just talking about. So here's the top edge of the last course installed 3 to 4 feet from the ridge. So we can measure from here to here to get an idea of where the last course is. And then we can divide, and then figure out how much we can cut off each one to have a nice uniform approach as it goes up. Again, we'll be practicing this in the lab, so don't get too caught up on what this looks like here. Here we have a ridge vent installed and the shingles on top of it. So this is one way of doing it, to cut along the dotted line, tapering each one top portion slightly. Taper, 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 and we'll see why. Cement roof tiles. So these are used in hot locations. They come in a variety of styles and thicknesses. So they can weigh anywhere from 500 to 1,200 pounds per square. So over 100 square feet, it could be 500 to 1,200 pounds. So think about that for the roof framing portion of it. That's quite a bit. Roof trusses need to be preloaded before the interior finishes are applied. So because of the amount of weight that you're putting on here, if you didn't have your roof on when the interior finishes are applied, there's a good chance that some of it could sag down. Here we have some roofers applying. Here we have the paper, and over here they have the tiles. Underlayment requires varying depending on local codes. The first layer is applied with cap nails. The second layer may be applied with a hot tar. Tiles are screwed into place. So here we have an example of what that looks like. So you can see that they have the hot buckets of tar here, and they're applying it. Over here, they're screwing the tiles in. And of course down here, this is the first course. In conclusion, it is necessary to have an understanding of common roofing terms to apply roofing material efficiently. Right? You need to know what you're talking about. You must properly prepare the deck for installation of roofing materials. Clean it, clean it, clean it. Cement tile roofing is used in warmer areas when longer roof lifespan is needed. That's it. If you have any questions, let me know.